Hey everyone, I'm going to be reviewing Organisum Fingerboards owned by Robert Reyes. He approached me a few months back and I just recently accepted the team position. I know he worked really hard on putting this package together, so I just want to say thanks. I really appreciate it. Alright, so everything was shipped out on Thursday, March 5th, and I got it in 4 business days. He ships ground shipping because he was short on cash, but he'll normally ship priority, which is really nice. He also sent my package with insurance so he could track it if anything happened. Everything came in this box, and as you can see, it was really well protected with bubble wrap, some newspaper, and there's some packaging peanuts. The wooden blocks were used to keep the legs of the bench from breaking. In my sponsor package, I got a granite bench, a square rail, and 2 decks. He also sent everything along with a nice little welcome to the team letter. I just want to let everyone know that Robert is not currently sponsoring, so please don't message him. Just subscribe to Organisum FB, and if he decides to add more members, then he'll make a video. So first off, I'm going to be reviewing the flat bar rail. The difference in a flat bar rail and a round rail is that a square rail gives you more leverage and space to lock in your tricks into grinds. I'm pretty sure you guys can see for yourselves, but the rail is really awesome and clean. I don't know if it's JB weld or whatever, but there isn't too much excess on the edges. As you guys can see, the legs of the bench and the feet are nice and big to keep the rail balanced. There was also some foam tape on the bottom of the rail to keep from sliding. Although along these edges it was a little bit rough, but it could easily be fixed with some sanding. The rail itself is about 9 3/4 inches long, and it's almost 2.5 inches tall. Compared to my first class rail, the Organisum rail is longer, but it's a little bit shorter. The length provides a lot of time for grinding, so it's perfect. So it's not like you just go on and then you get off right away. I personally really like the height, but I don't know if he'll be offering custom-sized rails or not. The rail is really smooth and it makes a nice crisp sound. It's a different type of material than my first class rail, a different type of metal, but it's definitely smoother. The rail is also solid compared to the first class, which is hollow. I think that it's the perfect weight, so it doesn't slide at all, and I absolutely love it. So I really suggest picking one of these up when they're in stock. Next up is the Granite bench. It's super smooth, and I love the size of it. Roughly, it's almost 10 inches long and about 1.5 inches tall. So it's a little bit longer than the rail, but it's shorter. The reason why it's so short is because it's meant for manuals and grinds. I also really like the width of the bench. As you can see, there's lots of room. The cuts are really nice and clean. so the grinding surface is not too rigid. The granite used is a black color, which I think looks really good. Like the rail, there was also some foam tape on the bottom, which I don't know if you guys can see. They're pretty small pieces, but the weight of the granite itself basically keeps the bench from sliding. One thing I noticed though is that the bench was a bit uneven. Not too big of a deal. It's not really noticeable either. And it can also be fixed. So overall I think the bench is great and really fun for tricks into grinds and manuals. So lastly, I'm going to review the decks. I got 2 decks, an Organisum extra wide and a metal bottom experimental deck. The extra wide deck is about 30 millimeters wide and 96 millimeters long. It has a nice rainbow dyed ply. Sorry I don't have wide trucks, so it looks kind of weird. And that's why it doesn't like balance. But yeah. The deck has 5 solid plies. The shape of the deck is pretty mellow. At first I thought that it could be a little bit more defined, but after about a week or so of using it, I really like how it performs. The concave is pretty mellow. Basically like a tech deck. Wait, I don't have anything. I guess that doesn't really help, but yeah. It took me a little while to get used to because I was using Hollywood, which has pretty high kicks. So yeah, but after I got used to it, it was really nice. The holes were basically perfect. I had like no problems getting the trucks on. At the time they were being hand drilled, but Rob told me that he got like a CNC machine or something, so all the future decks will have perfect holes. The countersinks were good. I was able to get the screws to go through the base plate. The kingpin holes were okay. I got mine in fine, but I think that the holes could be a little bit deeper. If you guys can see, like right here, the kingpin sticks out a little bit. I think that it could easily be fixed though. Rob, you should just like make the kingpin hole go through at least one of the plies, because on these 2 decks, it goes like halfway through the bottom ply. The pop on the deck is like amazing. For being such mellow decks, I can get my tricks pretty high up. The deck is an extra wide, so it makes it a lot easier to control. I really like this deck, and the lacquer on it was perfect, if you guys can see. It's really shiny, and it slides well. The metal bottom deck is an experimental deck. It's about 28 millimeters wide and 99 millimeters long. Rob told me that he air sanded the bottom. I don't really know what that means, but I bet it's a good thing. The deck is 4 plies and then the aluminum ply. First thing I noticed was how the aluminum was applied. It doesn't cover like the entire bottom of the deck, but again, this is an experimental deck, so it's probably fine by now, but yeah. The shape seems a little bit more undefined and mellow than the wood deck. So it took me a little while to get used to.